Welcome, fellow lovers of the weird and strange. This is Lance, your host of Legends of the Hidden Horde, where we explore the folklore behind the mythical creatures that stalk the dark corners of our globe. A huge thank you to all of you for tuning in. Your ears make these strange journeys possible. If you enjoy the show, please hit that subscribe button, leave me a quick review, and give me a follow on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, or X. Your support truly makes a difference. Now, let's dive into the next story. So grab your Ray-Bans and put on some sunscreen. We're heading into the desert in episode 25, The Red Ghost. In the vast whispering expanse of the Arizona territory, where the red earth meets the jagged spines of mountains and the wind carries secrets older than memory, there once roamed a shadow that was neither fully beast nor spirit. The land itself, ancestral home to the Ndee and other indigenous nations who had for centuries known every hidden spring, every game trail, and every shift of the desert's breath, bore witness to an intruder born not of its own dreaming, but of distant ambitions and foreign sands. It was the spring of 1883 near Eagle Creek, when the first scream tore through the dusk. Two women, alone in a small adobe, while the men rode out amid the tensions of expansion and conflict, heard the dogs erupt into frenzy. One had gone to the spring for water, stepping into the willow thicket where the land had long offered its cool gift. What followed was a blur of terror, a massive reddish form thundering forward, its cloven feet churning the mud, and upon its back, something that looked like a devil, pale, skeletal, bound in rags and shadows. The remaining woman barred the door, heart hammering against her ribs as the desert seemed to hold its breath. When the men returned with torches, they found her companion trampled flat beside the spring, the body pressed into the earth as if the land itself had claimed her in sorrow. Huge prints, twice the size of any horse's, marked the ground. Clumps of long red hair clung to the branches like dried blood. The coroner could only write, "Death in some manner unknown." Word spread like wildfire through the territory. Settlers and prospectors began calling it the Red Ghost, or Fantasma Colorado among those who spoke Spanish. Some swore it stood 30 feet tall, black wings unfurling against the moon. Others claimed it could vanish into the heat haze or leap entire canyons. It smashed tents in the night on Chase's Creek, leaving only red fur and screams echoing in the dark. Near the Verde River, 5 desperate men fired their rifles as the creature fled. A human skull, still bearing tatters of flesh and hair, tumbled from its back like a grim offering. Cowboys who tried to lasso it were dragged through the brush, staring up into empty sockets of a skeleton lashed tight to the beast's spine. Yet the land's original stewards watched these events through different eyes. The Ndee and neighboring nations had long navigated the desert's harsh gifts and dangers with deep knowledge passed through generations. Stories of balance, of spirits tied to place, of creatures that tested the unwary. This red specter was something else, a foreign thing brought across oceans by men who sought to conquer distance itself. The camel, an animal unknown to these lands before the mid-1800s, had been part of a grand military experiment. The U.S. Camel Corp meant to carry supplies across the arid Southwest. When the project faltered amid war, prejudice, and the stubborn refusal of horses and mules to accept their new rivals, many of the great beasts were turned loose or sold. Some survived, feral and scarred in the very deserts their handlers had once tried to tame. Many variations haunt every telling. Was the skull shot free by the prospector's bullets, or did it simply detach as the tormented animal fled, the desert reclaiming what had been bound to it? Did the creature truly devour a grizzly, or was that fear stretching truth into legend? Some accounts placed the final shot in a turnip patch tended by a man named Mizu Hastings. Others remembered a garden or a yard near the San Francisco River. The beast's size grew with each retelling. The rider sometimes headless, sometimes winged, sometimes vanishing entirely when pursued. Even after the killing shot in 1893, when a rancher ended the red ghost's wanderings and discovered not a demon, but a red furred camel whose flesh had grown around rawhide straps so tight they left permanent scars. The questions remained. Who was the man whose bones had been lashed there? A prospector, dying of thirst, who had bound himself in desperate hope the camel would find water? A cruel joke or punishment by human hands? A rider who perished and was never cut free? A desert offered no answers, only the wind carrying red dust across the old trails. Long after the camel's body cooled, other sightings flickered at the edges of memory. A lone camel spotted during boundary surveys in 1901. Another near Wickenburg in 1913. Reports of stampeding horses into the 1920s and 1940s. The red ghost had become more than one animal. It had become a story that the land told about itself. A reminder that what is introduced without wisdom or consent may return changed, carrying the weight of every hand that it touched. And so the red ghost endures, not as a simple monster, but as a wound in the story of the West. It teaches us that ambition without humility breeds its own phantoms. When humans import foreign lives into ancient ecosystems, whether camels across the ocean or new technologies into fragile worlds, we bind consequences to the living that may outlast us by generations. The skeleton on its back is every choice we refuse to reckon with, the suffering we ignore, the knowledge of place we dismiss, the dead we carry forward because we could not cut the straps. In our own time of rapid change, when climates shift, species move, and we experiment with life's very codes, the red ghost rides again in new forms. It asks whether we will keep lashing our dead ideas and unintended harms to the backs of the future, or whether we will finally learn to listen to the land and its original stewards before the next red specter rises from the dust. The desert remembers. The stories we choose to carry will shape what comes next. That's it for the red ghost. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you did, please hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Give me a follow on Facebook, Instagram, or Threads. And for more information, you can see the links in the show notes. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows.